Hello, welcome to my video. My name's Andy, I stay in Scotland, and this video is about U-33. I have an interest in German history, military, in particular the U-boats. You can see on my channel I have other stuff regarding U-boats from U-534, which I have done quite a few restoration videos on items from U-534 which was raised from the deep. I also run one of the U-534 face group pages. That aside, this video is not about me babbling on. It's going to have some good videos in it, some interesting. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you my adventures on the U33 story. If you want to read about that, it's The Mystery of U33. It's Hitler's Secret Envoy by author Nigel Graydon. Go and have a look at that. And there's a lot of information in this book which has got me to where I am today to start and make this video. So what am I going to do? What's it all about? Well, U33 sunk, and from that there was death, sadly, of the Kriegsmarine sailors, and some were washed up on shore outside the outdoor Greenock pool, and some were nearby as well. And those bodies that were recovered were buried in Greenock Cemetery. So I have a map. So this map here is the one from Nigel's book. And in this, it shows you where they were buried. Now, mysteriously, they were all removed and were buried elsewhere. I think they were buried in a military cemetery in England, as far as I know, or they may have been moved to Germany. I can't remember. That aside, there is this picture here, which shows me an interesting setup of them actually. This is a German prisoner of wars, the graves of U-33 fallen in Greenock, and that was in March 1946. Now, just behind them, you can see the two top of the sort of headstones. Now, I firmly believe these are still going to be there after all that time, right? It's a fair bet to say. But the graves or the markers or the plaque, I don't think will be. I think that's long gone. Um, I think well, what we're going to do is I'm going to go and find out. I'm going to take the bike down there, motorcycle right down, and I'm going to get to the graves and try and locate it and see if there's anything of interest still remains. So that'll be the first part. The second part is this. This is the River Clyde in Scotland, famous river. It runs through right through Glasgow, down the west coast of Scotland. Now there is anti U-boat submarine nets in this picture. It was to stop anything coming up the Clyde to launch torpedoes at shipping, as well as infiltrate and planning the invasion of Britain. So I have came across this document, which is from Historic Scotland, I believe, which actually dictates and explains what to look for, because as far as I've talked to a few people down that way, the anti-tethering spots where they're locked on nets are still there. Now they're partly made of cement and they have railway lines sticking out of them. I think there's three in total from what the Historic Scotland should state. I can't see it, but you'll see it on the screen now yourself. You can read it. So we'll see what that's all about as well, and see if they're there. We'll get access to the Clock Lighthouse grounds, not the actual property itself, but the actual beachfront, which is public accessible from a small type of hill going down into it. I've got to go at low tide, so otherwise it's absolutely pointless going, and I don't want to do it when the tide's coming in, because that wouldn't be good, would it? Right, so that's what we're going to do. Two things regarding U-boat U33. We're going to find any the war grave or any area that's got a plaque on it which relates to it, and also we're going to go back up and see the lighthouse and see if we can find the anti U-boat nets that would have stopped them coming up the Clyde. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this. If you do, I'll certainly make more, and it should be a good bit of fun and seeing what happens. Okay, so here we go.
This is Clock Lighthouse in Greenock, down past Greenock area, and over here, spanning over to the shores of Dunoon was the Anti U-boat nets. The Anti U-boat nets, which I'll show you a picture, should be appearing now, were made of a very large circular steel, and it looked like a mesh, to be honest, and it spanned the entire boom, as they called it here. Now, attaching the U-boat nets, you would have to have some sort of fixtures on either side, and I believe that these are still here underneath Clock Lighthouse. I'm going to try and find them, as I've posted on a form. So access looks pretty precarious, to be honest. Low tide is out, which is good. I had to come down a bit earlier to get that, just in case. So we're going to make our way down and see if we can locate them. Under here there should be two large cement areas with some sort of steel pegging, should be railway lines. And then after that we're going to go up to Greenock Cemetery and see if there's any plaque recalling I think it was 25 sailors that died from U-33 that were moved in October 1962 down to England. So let's go and have a look. Safety disaster. Right. Getting closer. Now I thought that's what it was, but it's not. These are just monuments or mounds of part of the building. It could be part of the drainage system. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't want to get caught here at low tide. Sorry, high tide. What the hell, you'd be well snickered. Right. So, I thought that's what it was there. But it's not. It's a lovely big mast. So that's quite deceptive, because you'd expect that to be part of the boom which would connect on, but it's not. So let's go and have a look. I don't know whether the seagulls are laughing at me or it's just what they do normally. Here it is, found it. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. That is a World War II anti-submarine U-boat net fixture. There we go. Now, Historic Scotland has documented this as being 3 railway sleepers set at a 15-degree angle, I believe. That is totally correct. Those are railway sleepers, you can see the rivets. So this would hold on to the submarine nets, anti-nets. That's just what's as a tethering point. And this would then span out across the other side to Dunoon. So apparently some of the information is that this was here since World War I and World War II, but they don't know for sure what ones actually were here first, and maybe did they build other ones after the second one. But yeah, that's a piece of history for all us U-boat fans. Lovely to see. It survived all these years, and you would just pass that thinking it's an old bit of fence, wouldn't you? In fact, it was to protect Scotland from German invasion and German attack. If you look at Nigel Graydon's book, which is part of the reason I'm here today, you'll find out that he thinks there was a U-boat sunk in the Clyde, which is interesting. My stepfather used to work on the Clyde. He was a shipbuilder, and he says it's pretty possible because the depth out there is quite deceptive. To this day you'll find submarines going up to the Royal Dockyards and Fast Lane, coming down and up. So yes, it's well used. But there we go. So we've actually found the tethering point for the anti-submarine nets. I'm absolutely delighted. I'm just driving back up the road and I'm on the bike, and I've just spotted this defence monument. I'll show you this. So this is part of the British World War II defence post for the U-boats and any other ships coming up the Clyde. So basically this is sort of some sort of armament, and we're going to take a trip down here, hopefully not my arse. Oh, this is great. I wish I'd known this earlier on, I wouldn't have went up that bloody awful way. There we go, pretty well sealed off. Now there would have been guns there, that'd have been interesting. There'd been a big gun. I don't fancy going down here, to be honest. But there we go. There's been a huge gun pointing out over the Clyde there. And this is part of the armaments or defences of World War II. So that's nice. Another nice wee find there on the trip. So we'll go back up. Because it's solid cement and steel, probably reinforced, it's lasted so long. Well, I made it to Greenock Cemetery, and the layout of the land, as you can understand, all those years ago, is very difficult to try and find the grave, even if it is marked, because they're no longer there, so it's previous graves, which is even less of a chance. But I'm on the right section. I'm at section 3C here. From Nigel's Mystery of U33's book. So I managed to trace it down. It's a lovely day here in Greenock, it's nice. So this is the ground area where they've been laid to rest. I may not find it. I'm going to venture further up and see if I can find any of the sort of headstones that might give me a clue on the picture, which I'll show here again. You should be seeing that now. And then I'm going to head back up the road. But yeah, this is where they were laid to rest. I think it was 25 Kriegsmarine sailors died, and were laid here and then moved to another military graveyard area, cemetery, October 1962. Most odd, isn't it? Get the book, have a look, read yourself, and I hope you found this interesting. I love doing this, I love just finding out stuff about the history, particularly of the U-boat era. All the best, and I'll stay tuned in case I find anything else, but if I don't, thanks for watching. I'm just about to leave the cemetery, and it's just by pure chance I looked over and I thought I recognised one of the gravestones in the picture. Remarkably, it is. I found it. The reason it was so hard to find is that one of the actual like vases that sits on top of the gravestone has been come off over the years, so that photograph is instrumental in finding the grave. Let me show you what I found. Over here, now in the picture, which I'll show you here, let me show you the picture from the book. I've circled the 4 gravestones. Right, I've circled the 4 that confirm this is it. If I go back to where we are now, in the cemetery, this one here, you can see the outline of it is circle number 4. This one here at the top is the top of the gravestone. This is the one that's missing. This is the one that's missing, the area. So let me just come down this way. Don't want to walk in any graves, respectfully. As we come up here, this is the one that had the vase on it. This one here. But the vase or the urn is gone, and I'm 100% sure it is, because look, there's a spike on top of that where it would have been sitting. And then again in the picture you can see this one, that's exactly next to it. You can see this grave is fell against it. Yeah, so with that I can then work out where the sailors of U-33 were buried, and estimating where they were standing, estimating from the photograph in the area here. If anybody wants to come, this is the area here. There is where they were buried, as far as I can make out. There is no other feasible place for it to be, possibly. This is a run here. This bit stops here, and other people may have been buried after. But based on the photograph, if I'm standing here, and that photograph I'm looking at, in the distance I can see that, and the people that are standing next to it, has to be in this vicinity here. These graves are after 1940, so every possibility this space here, that's where the fallen of U-33 were buried in Greenock Cemetery. I don't believe anybody else has found this or documented it. If they have, good to see what information you've got. But this is exciting for me. This is brought the end of a day to a nice close on a U-boat history tour in Scotland. I hope everybody who enjoys this has got something out of it, a bit of history captured for generations to come, and of course the lesson never to repeat from it, the hatred and the hurt that it caused so many, and so many put their lives on all sides to fight what they believed in at the time. Sadly the world isn't any better, is it? But I hope you enjoyed this, and respectfully to everybody who's helped get this for me, and also to Nigel Graydon. If it wasn't for your book, I wouldn't be here doing this adventure today. So respectfully, thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.